Is being black a curse of God for Mormons? You're probably thinking, but there are black Mormons. How is that possible? People are always going to point to the 1970s when they allowed people of darker complexion to be pastors. But this whole curse of God and being black didn't originate from the Mormons. And in fact, it was a very, very Calvinist belief. And I'm going to go and show you why. So Noah, yes, Noah's Ark. Noah had 3 sons, which is Japheth, Ham, and Shem. So Ham happens to be the grandfather of Canaan. And what did Canaan do? He found Noah, his grandfather, blackout drunk, and told other people. What was the result? The result was supposed to be that Canaan was supposed to be the slaves for his brothers. So how do they interpret this? They interpret it as that Ham's descendants, Canaan, right, is supposed to be slaves for the rest of the world. Very racist theology, okay? In fact, they were chosen, and they're stuck that way, quote unquote. Mormons took it a step further and said that, technically speaking, the curse of Ham also included his skin color. Now, a question that comes to mind is, then how come the rest of America has changed his belief system? It kind of started with the counterculture of Calvinism, which is Arminianism. So Arminianism really helped propagate and prop open new churches such as the Methodists and the Quakers. So Quakers were in the business of freeing slaves. Now we know why. In fact, this theology, this Christian theology, was so harsh and so prevalent and changed the American political culture to the point that the final breaking point was, in fact, none other than the Civil War. So the Civil War was a theological battle which eventually became a political battle. So if you know Calvinism now, they've dropped the whole, being black is a curse of God and you're supposed to be slaves. But Mormons did not. And you're probably wondering, how come? Weren't they around the same time? So the Latter-day Saints started in 1820, but they all were on the move. They were migrating to the west in 1840s to the late 1860s. So they're on the move. So here are the Mormons. They're all kind of ending up here along with Mexico and New Mexico. So while the Mormons were fighting for religious freedom in the West, America was fighting in the East over slaves. Long story short, the Mormons pretty much missed the entire Civil War, and they didn't drop the theology like the rest of the world. Fun facts.